Hello twin flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. Welcome. So you're new or you're coming back. Today I'm doing a little bit different format of the reading. As promised, this will be a relationship based read. And I decided to see what each of the twins is feeling on the heart space towards the connection and what is actually happening in the connection and what's coming up in the nearest future. Remember, we do have the 12/12 portal tomorrow. That means I will be doing analysis on how that is impacting the twins at this point and giving some advice on how to best utilize the huge energies that are coming in. We're actually already under the influence of those energies, but obviously tomorrow is going to be the peak. I do have a few decks with me, like 4 and the Oracle one, and I'm going to start with an Oracle one. I'll get a card for each of the twins. We'll start with Divine Feminine. Just to get you an idea of what's going on. This will be the card of advice actually, because then I'm gonna focus on what is currently happening and what's coming up for the connection. I am also testing my new lights today, so let me know what you think. These are gonna be my travel lights, so I'm definitely bringing them with me to the DR, to Hawaii. It's a lot more compact version that I'm usually using for my setup. And I'm actually pretty impressed so far because I got a really good deal on it with the Black Friday deals. And yeah, so far so good. Let's see. So for feminines, we have surrender to the journey, release control. Yeah, so ask to step into your divine feminine energy, right? Where you surrender as much as possible. It also includes forgiveness. It includes acceptance. It includes one of those, I know that whatever is happening on my path is divinely orchestrated. It's for my own good. It's not happening to me, it's happening for me, regardless of how it shows up or how I feel about it immediately in the moment, right? And in the larger scale, it of course means not trying to control things, not to try to to force things to go exactly the way you want, because as always, remember that we have our vision, our plan, and then there's God's plan, God's vision. And we're supposed to trust that that is much more powerful, abundant, and happy than what we had in mind, right? So we need to be open to things happening otherwise. For the masculines, we have two cards. Mystic Healer, healing energy flows through you. To me, in this case, it means that there's a lot of healing happening for divine masculines at this time. Like all these recent energies, the full moon that we experienced this week, right? It brought a lot of cleansing, a lot of release, and I talked about it in my previous reading. The other one is transformation, a fresh new way of living emerges. Very logical, right? When you cleanse, when you heal, when you release, you create space for something new and beautiful, right? This is transformation in progress. And I'm not saying that it's done. I'm feeling that it is a work in progress. It's like, it's taking a minute. It's not gonna be, just happening overnight. It's gonna take a bit of time, but divine masculines can feel it for sure. That's what I can say here. Okay, let's see with the tarot now, how divine masculines are feeling about the connection. Divine feminine and the connection. We get Queen of Pentacles in reverse. We have 6 of Swords. And wow, 4 Wands. You can't make it up. This is so cool, so cool. Okay, let's see what we have from Divine Feminine. What is Divine Feminine feeling on the heart space towards DM and the connection at this time? And guys, don't forget to register for my webinar to personal astrology. It's free and it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited myself. I will release a short video today with some more info. If you are watching my channel, I already did give a highlight earlier this week. But yeah, it should be fun. If you've always wondered about the astrology, why people get so hung up on it, or what those transits mean, or like So you are a certain astrological sign. What does that mean? Like, is that a big deal? How is that helpful? It's gonna be interesting for you. Like, even if you never really given it much thought because you just by default didn't consider it important, watch it. I'm like, seriously, because for me the connection, I used to be just as skeptical about it, and for me the main connection is to what kind of tools and what kind of information it's given me to do personal work, personal growth, to step into my mission, right, to understand how I am in relationships, right? Like, you get all of that information based on your birth chart and, you know, astrology transits, and like, it's a combination, right, of your own baseline and like ingredients that you're made of, plus what is happening in the planet right now, right, with the planetary bodies, with the lunation events, all of those marvelous things. And for twins, it's even more impactful. So if it's impactful for specific people, like just, you know, average people, it's gonna be like 10 times more powerful for light workers, including twin flames. Because we are so energetically powerful, we attract more of that cosmic energy and vibe, and we feel the transits more in a more profound way. So it's even more important, I feel, to understand this better. So this is gonna be a free intro. Of course, I will be doing more events in the new year, but yeah, and you can also register to get the recording later on if you cannot join on Wednesday on the live session. Alrighty, so we have Ace of Cups, Two of Wands, and Eight of Swords. Interesting. Okay. And then what is currently going on in the connection? Wow, a lot going on. The Chariot in Page of Cups in reverse, and then we have Queen of Cups and the Fool. Okay. And what is the outcome in the nearest future? What's the forecast? What's going to be happening in the nearest future? We have the World, which is very nature oriented in this deck. Ten of Swords and Six of Cups. Beautiful, beautiful. Whew. So another cycle, basically. Okay, so let's get into it. I don't know why the chair is damaging my hair today. This is so unfair. Seriously, no idea. Anyway. Ow. So what I'm getting that on the one hand, like, this is divine feminine for me usually. And that's how I'm seeing it here, because we've asked the question of what DM is thinking about the DF and connection. So there is some sort of, they feel like there is some sort of uneasiness or chaos or upheaval in the 3D space for divine feminine. It could be financial, it could be dealing with family, even making arrangements for the holidays. Like, it's more like that hustle, right? Like, it's not, I don't think that they feel there is a like it's a big problem or it's a crisis, but there is some imbalance there, right? Like, there is some stress connected with it, so they can feel that. But also, they like, look at these cards, right? And look, this in this card, the guy is actually looking this way. It's almost like he's taking the boat this way. So to me, they understand that they need to, well, both twins actually need to be in a very balanced state to be able to be together. When they don't have many of those distractions in the world, or taking care of finances, I don't know, kids, houses, travels, whatever, right? Like, they have this vision now that when you're both at peace, that's when the union comes. But this is actually sounding quite enthusiastic. It feels enthusiastic. Like, they're actually motivated by it. They get excited about it. They're like, oh, okay, now I can actually see how or when it's possible. Maybe not all the details, but at least this is, you know, like when there is something that you've been told is going to happen in the future, but it's so magical, you like can't really understand how it's gonna come together or what can you do to bring it forward, right? It's just like it feels like it's out of your hands completely and you have no control, like no way to bring it faster or make it better or whatever. And now they can actually get some of that information. It doesn't mean that they're completely in control, of course, but like even that amount of information is helpful, and it's given them that extra drive, extra motivation to keep going. It's kind of like they know what they're working for, like what they're doing this for, whatever they are going through in their karmic life. Which again, since we get this card, I'm sensing that there's a lot of turbulence in their life right now, right? But they understand that they are trying things out, doing things differently. They are getting some answers. They are building their life. They're figuring things out for themselves, even if it's without the feminine right now. And they know that the feminines are figuring things out for themselves so that then they can come together. Beautiful. For the feminine, we have Ace of Cups, Two of Wands, and Eight of Swords. Yeah, so again, this guy is looking towards the cup, so there is a clear choice towards love. So Divine Feminine can see that both of the twins are choosing this love. They see its power. They like the larger sense of love, right? Doesn't have to be physical, doesn't have to be romantic, right? It's like two people who are very close to each other, who are each other's home and rock and whatever else you want to call it. And there is this good feeling, like, understanding that both of the twins have chosen this. And that's the emphasis that the Fs are getting at this time. On the other hand, they can tell that Divine Masculine is still struggling with some internal conflicts, right? Like certain decisions or conversations that the Fs experience are telling them that there's still some gaps in understanding, and there is some limiting mindset, right, where they cut themselves short or shoot themselves in the foot with certain choices they make, which are not the high vibrational choices, let's put it that way, right? Because then there is a variety of scenarios, and this is a general read, so I can't really jump into all of them. But yeah, whatever those, let's call them bad choices, right, this is a learning process, and they understand that there is a learning process. It's coming in. Let's look at this. Like in this card, there is this band around the eyes, right? So they can tell that it's helping Divine Masculine find their way out intuitively, because they make a low vibrational decision. They get themselves in trouble. The karma is playing out its way. They get themselves in trouble, but then they can see like the past, and they can kind of make the connections, the root cause connections, the cause and effect connections in the situation, and they are learning. Every time something like that happens, they are learning, and they are learning to trust themselves more, which is the main goal anyway. What's happening in the connection right now? So yeah, we actually have, it's interesting. We kind of have, what I'm getting generally for these cards is that the twins are deciding not to figure out everything at once, not to necessarily understand everything that's happening or try to logicate it or try to fit it into a frame of karmic relationship that they would have with someone else, right? And again, it doesn't have to be romantic, but it could be like if you're friends, you could be comparing this friendship to the other friendships that you have or had. If you work together, you could be comparing it to other colleagues or clients or whatever you had before, right? But this is and that's what our brain is doing anyway, by default. That's how it works. But this is the part where twins understand that this cannot be put in that box, right? And it's better not to, actually, because it's only gonna prevent love from coming in, right? It's gonna block the love. And the twins have already figured out by now that they want to let love in. It feels so much better, right? So they're not in a rush to kind of get to the happy ending or to get to the, yeah, I know that phrase is totally ruined these days, but you know what I mean, right? It's not like like usually, and again, it's how our society works these days, that we want the outcome right now, right? We want to know how the story ends. We want to understand what is this about exactly, right? And we're rushing the culmination and kind of like the rest of the story to happen. And this is this journey and this connection is teaching both twins not to do that and enjoy the process. Just trust, just enjoy it as you move on. And they see how much it helps them grow and mature in the way they see themselves and the rest of the world. In other words, how they love themselves and the rest of the world. And this is superb. Like, this is like already blowing their mind, right? Like, even without knowing the end of this story was this person, like this background story is blowing up their mind. I can only imagine what this story is gonna be like when if it has a chance to develop further. And both twins are making the choice for it to develop. They want it. That's the key thing here. What's coming up? Yeah, of course, we see end of a cycle, 10 of Swords, and the world. Maybe travel for some people as well. We see 6 of Cups. So what I'm getting here is that the self-healing journey is going to continue, especially since Aries, and this is for the nearest future, by the way. I'm not looking too much ahead. I will do something like that for 2023, actually. But this is right now, this is like the nearest, maybe a few days. But yeah, the Chiron is in Aries till December 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. And that means until then, there's still this, and this is like the last leg of that journey, right? Where we do a lot of inner work, whether we want it or not. And there's a lot of self-healing happening on the personal level, right? And this is what it is, right? Like, this is at the 10 of Swords now, right? You may feel tired or exhausted, but this is really gonna, the coming week is really gonna help heal more stuff, close or tie some loose ends in a good way, right? Where you have a closure and you can release it and move on to something bigger and better. And the 6 of Cups is, of course, when we do more of the healing, more of the twin love comes in, right? And you find new ways to appreciate and cherish your twin, to be able to support them, and you have more space for unconditional love in general, right? Whatever it means for your situation right now, right? You will want to be there for each other, to support each other, to celebrate each other, and that's beautiful. And if you do what I'm hearing from Spirit, don't, just go for it, basically. By Sunday, I'm forgetting my words. Okay, let's see what we have with messages. First, messages from DMs to DFs. Gonna do this quickly. What do you want? And this love scares me. Yeah, so there is that part of unclarity, and I was mentioning that in DM's life, where they are moving towards 6 of Swords. They're not quite there yet. So while they're figuring things out and the healing is happening, they realize that this love scares them, and also they're not really sure. This is the part where we don't know all the answers yet, right? They're not sure where this is going or what's gonna come in next. DFs to DMs. Okay. We have love is the answer, and if I ask you to stay, would you leave? Kind of similar vibes. The Fs are not scared, although being like leading things spiritually, right? There's a lot more awareness. So it's helping deal with the fear on a much faster loop. But eventually it's gonna work the same way for the DM as well. It's just a matter of time, right? And the F is wondering actually, because they see first that on the one hand that DM can see the love and is choosing to have this relationship in their life because it's important. On the other hand, there is that internal conflict where they're still making sense of things for themselves and still going through karmic cycles, right? There is this sort of like, like, how much would you actually care for what I have to say, or my opinion or if I share how I see things, right? But these are all good questions. It may sound a little bit vague, but first of all, the key thing is that both twins can see the love, and secondly, it's just that part where there's so many questions and so few exact answers that's what's getting the twins to let go of those expectations, wanting to have all the answers quickly, right? To kind of like relax, sink into it, and enjoy the ride. Okay, I hope this has been good for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please register for the webinar. I'll put the link in the comments. And of course, I'll see you all on the 12/12 portal tomorrow with some analysis and forecast. Bye everyone.